humans. Welcome back to the podcast. Our episode today sounds a little something like this.
We talk about on this podcast a lot the concept of the okay, now what?
Right.
And the okay part is sort of the acceptance and recognition. Okay, it's a weird season.
Yeah.
It's a transition, and then it's the now what?
Yeah.
So what can I do to make this better for me and the people around me?
Hey, it's an entertaining conversation and one we want to share with you. So let's get started.
This is a production of Pioneer Dream, celebrating 30 years of moving stories for corporate, nonprofit, and entertainment partners. Please help us keep the conversation going by rating, liking, and subscribing to this podcast. Thank you. Also, make sure to check out our other podcast, Mixed Up Mystics, featuring refreshingly honest conversations about Christianity, and Got a Minute Mini Podcast, presenting funny stories and independent music, all in about 15 minutes. Now, here's Jay and Anjanette Webster.
Thank you, Evangeline. Humans, how the heck are you? Welcome to another episode of the Hope for Humans podcast. I am joined, as always, by my co-conspirator, Anjanette. Hello, Anjanette. How are you?
I am fine. How are you?
As we say, good enough. I'm good enough. It is day 365 of summer.
Okay.
And we are caught in the heat dome. And, it's hard because you don't want to complain.
No.
You know, you and I have a rule. And
Right,
if you
yes.
guys haven't heard it yet, here's the rule that, when you're in the heat dome and it's excessive heat, you're allowed to say it's hot like one time a day because everybody already knows it's hot. And sometimes you just got to express it like a pressure valve. You've got to release it that one time.
Right.
But you're still stating the obvious.
Yeah.
And so you're not helping anybody by drawing more attention to the fact that it's hot. It's not a hidden feature. It's on you. But this heat that we're in right now is like a take your breath. Like you think, I need to remember that when I go outside, it's going to be pretty hot.
Yeah.
And you walk yourself through it. You get all ready for it and everything. And then you open the door and you're just like, oh, my dad, it is so hot out here. Where did this come from? And it's the kind of hot that even when you go out at like 9 or 10 o'clock at night, it's still in the 90s, which is just a slap in the face.
It is.
It's brutal.
One of the things our local Dreamers Club does is take care of one of the little parks that's across from our studio, Centennial Park.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Some of the flower beds. It's a long story, but we'll leave it at the park got created and then it didn't stay in the budget for anyone to care for.
Right.
So,
and they had, at the time, they had a sprinkler system and all that stuff. And somewhere in there, the sprinkler system broke it.
And then,
they just never fixed it.
The city couldn't replace it. We have great city government, but this one little thing. So anyway, we're trying to pick up the slack over there by planting some stuff a couple times a year. And so then, you make the investments. We planted some new perennials this year. Those are the ones for everyone that always come back. Mm-hmm. And when there's no rain and it's 103, there's really not a lot you can do.
You walk by the plants and they're wilted and they say, it would be better if I had never been born.
I mean, it's really sad and I can't walk through them and not do anything. So we've been we have these big painter buckets. So we've been trying to rescue.
Yes.
I think my goal now is just to try and rescue the perennials, the stuff that would come back.
It's so much. And again, we don't have the wildfires that they have in Europe. And we don't have, our friends who are listening over there are really under it. Many of them don't even, have AC units and stuff like that. They're just not prepared for this kind of
so much worse than we do.
Slap in the face heat.
Yeah.
And so we're with you in spirit and fortunately not with you in body because it's unfortunate. Speaking of countries.
Yes.
Do you know that did you know that this podcast, the Hope for Humans podcast, is in 68 countries?
That's crazy.
It is, including our friends in the UK and
what about Spain? Do we
of course you know that. We've been in Spain, so of course, it's been there. We're in I think I saw on the stats that we're in 366 cities across the world.
That's amazing. I'm so excited.
It is amazing. And so anyway, to all of you listening, and wherever you may be, thank you for joining us for Hopes for Humans.
Yes, and fall is on the way.
That's what we promised. Okay, so two things about that. One, If you are not following us on the Facebooks, on the socials, please do. We have a Facebook page just for the Hope for Humans podcast. We have another one for our sister podcast, the Mixed Up Mystics. But all you do is just go on the Facebooks and you search Hope for Humans, and we'll come up and you can join it. And that's really kind of exploding right now. We love that. It's a great way to stay on top of everything we're doing, to get background information or bonus materials or add to the conversation, message us and all that kind of stuff. So
there you
go to your Facebooks, search Hope for Humans, and start following us. Also, we do a monthly e-newsletter, completely electronic. No spam is involved, and it's called The Dreamery, and it will keep you abreast of all the things that we do with Dreamers and with the podcast and stuff we do in the schools and the community and at large. So all you have to do is just send us your email address, and we will add you to The Dreamery. In fact, I think there's one... We're just like 2 weeks from the next issue coming out.
Okay, nice.
And it's got lots of bonus material in it, free music and all that kind of stuff. So sign up for that.
Yes, get up on there.
Get up on there and get up and do it. So we have, we're fairly sentimental people. And
what?
I can remember when we first moved back to Bartlesville and having gone to college and being away for a while and all that kind of stuff. I wasn't prepared, and one morning I got up and we're having coffee, and then out of nowhere, you could hear this marching band. I'm like, what is happening? And it turned out that we were just a couple blocks away from what was then called the middle high, so it was the 9th and 10th grade, and they had a larger campus at the time.
Yeah.
So the entire high school band would practice on the east side, a couple blocks from our apartment, and it was like, oh my gosh, it was so romantic and all that. And ever since
probably
then,
not for the kids practicing,
no,
but for the
obviously
neighbors
not.
who are like, oh yeah.
But it kind of became this thing of it had romance to it because it always heralds the start or the soon coming of fall, of autumn. And
football season.
The seasons are changing. This is going to happen. This is going to be a thing.
Right.
And so you would hear the band, and it's always around sunrise, and they're out there, man. And then we ended up moving to the west side, and shout out west side. And somehow, through the powers that be, the band followed us. They came back over to the high school.
You think it's because we moved downtown?
I think so. I think they know, yeah. And so, you get your coffee. You go out on the back deck.
Well, not today, you don't.
No, you don't.
It's too hot.
Yeah. You just say, you're on your own, kids.
Yeah, that's right.
But
you stare at the outside from the inside.
It's...
Oh, did you get a good sip of your podcast drink there?
Sorry, that's my Storm Energy drink.
What flavor did you get this
Sponsors
time?
of the Hope for Humans podcast. They just don't know it.
I wish that they would give us some free. All we want is
just
free
free
energy
beverages.
drinks.
Yeah.
So what flavor did you get today?
This is not the beverage that I want. For whatever reason...
Have they changed up your flavor at the Jack's
No,
on
it's
Q?
just at the Jack's on Q Griffiths. They used to have like 5 or 6 flavors, and I got to a flavor that I kind of liked. And
was
it was
it
kind
the
of
tropical one? Or
no, it's the grapefruit and orange.
Okay,
and so
The
I don't like them. I
Valencia
don't like them to be
grapefruit.
too sweet.
Yeah.
So it had a little tartness to it and all that kind of stuff. Well, then they decided for whatever reason we're just going to put 2 flavors in here, and then they found the 2 flavors that nobody wants, and that's what they're stocking. So this one is tropical. It still does the trick, but still gets you there.
That brand. You like that brand because it's like a cleaner energy drink.
It's
less
clean
chemicals?
and it's got a lot of Jack in it, so it will supposedly. And so like with the heat dome thing,
yes.
I had a doctor's appointment yesterday, and it's like, so how are things going? I'm like, hey, I feel great, except for the fact that I can't feel my face, and that my brain is completely fogged out, and I don't know if there's anything I can do about that.
Well, for those of you not in Oklahoma, it is like it's an amazing place, actually. But to counteract the low cost of living and amazing people, it is the allergy capital of the world.
Oh, man.
And so there's something that you're allergic to. I mean, I feel it too, but for you, I think what it's like, it must be like a tree mold or something.
It's all the things. Yeah.
And then when it really heats up in the summer, it's like it heats that stuff up. So you've got
when
the
I
crazy eye.
I wake up and I'm fine. I'm thinking, oh, this is going to be a great day. I feel good and all that stuff. And then about 45 minutes of being awake, suddenly this stuff kind of gets on you and in you. And then you just can't. Brain waves don't make the shore anymore. It just doesn't happen.
And you have to tell yourself, I'm not suffering from severe depression. It's just severe allergies.
Right.
But the energy drink we're back to
helps
a little bit.
So thank you, Storm, for
Storm
Energy for sponsoring the Hope for Humans podcast.
There you go.
we
And I
appreciate
have
it.
my flavor today is I have a different brand of energy
Yes.
drink than you have.
Right.
Because I was somehow taking in too much vitamin B12 or something. So I had to
Right.
find one without vitamin B. And I have the Bum Energy
BUM,
sugar-free
yeah.
cherry frost.
Wow.
It's pretty good.
Yeah. And again, that's the one flavor that of all the flavors they offer that actually works. The rest
Yeah.
of them are
Are
like
too sweet.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's like a bartender makes you something and they didn't know what they were doing. It's awful.
Meanwhile, back at the marching band.
No, that's not why you called. Yeah. So meanwhile, at the marching band, this thing happens, and so it kind of has become romantic, but it also kind of signals, oh, the seasons are changing.
Yeah.
And so it's always had a lot of romance to it. And then now, this year, for the first time ever, and we used to, we would bring Evangeline in and we'd open up the door to on the back porch and say, hey, listen, and you could hear the band playing. And it was really, it was all stirring for all three of us and all stuff.
Yeah.
This year, we can't do that, the three of us, because our daughter is in the marching
She's
band.
in that band.
Yeah, so when you hear it now, you're like, oh my gosh.
I know, it's kind
The
of sweet.
bean is over there,
Yeah.
and she's
She's
hitting
big.
notes on a...
She's
yeah.
starting high school this fall, and she's a percussionist.
Yeah,
And we tried to talk her out of being in the marching band
Oh,
because,
boy.
let me tell you, and
for our sake, not for her. We
well,
didn't care if she
no,
did
I
it.
mean, we think our marching band's amazing. They
Yeah.
won some statewide awards last year, but it's like being in the Army. I mean,
Right.
she's over there like 6:45 to 2
Yeah.
every day, and then some evenings. And we sat down and showed her the calendar and said, just want you to understand what a big commitment this is.
Yeah.
And so, but she's having a good time, and
Right.
her specialty is the giant. Well, they look like giant xylophones, but they're actually a marimba. So these
Right.
huge xylophone-looking things that are made out of, I don't know if it's teak wood or mahogany, but
Sure.
they have a certain sound.
Yeah.
But so she's pretty excited about it. And
Yeah,
now we
she
listen.
loves the camaraderie of it, and all the percussion circle over there. They're like like swimmers I grew up with. They're kind of a weird separate breed,
Yeah.
and they're just odd people, and
Yeah, it was like my church youth group
most
days.
likely to dye their hair a funky color kind
Yeah.
of thing, and
They're
all that
pretty
kind of stuff.
cute.
Yeah.
And then we're having empty nest syndrome because she's
Yeah.
not there in the morning. But
Well, yeah. So if you listen to the podcast, this is kind of a weird transition season for us, and transition seasons, as we've talked about, can be really unsettling, even when they're good, even when you're headed to a better place.
yeah, it's going to be okay.
And
but-
so, like a week or two ago, I started noticing that Evangeline was kind of starting to get the eye, and she was a little unsettled. She
Yeah.
is kind of grumpy for her.
Yeah.
And we determined a long time ago, oh, that's how you metabolize nervousness. You
Yes.
just get grumpy.
yes.
You just get short,
It's a little
which
mean,
a lot of people
just
do.
to us.
Yeah.
but- Mhm.
And so we've all been in this transition season. We left Central Middle School, which
Yeah.
we'd been at for 3 years. And
awesome
we'd had
time.
all three of us had a real connection. That's where we started Dreamers Club for the kids.
Yeah.
That's where Evangeline kind of,
Came into her
outgrew
own.
of elementary, and she became student class president and a broadcasting producer and all this stuff. And we all really were super connected to that school.
Yeah.
And then one day, seemingly without warning, they say, "Oh, nope, time went off,
You
and
need to
you're
go to the
done."
next school.
Yeah, and so then you've got this
Say what?
3-month period
Yeah.
of
so-
anticipating the
Yeah.
next thing. It's
Right.
not like you go the next week and start something new. It's
Yeah.
just you have 3 months to anticipate what's this going to be like. And
yeah. And I think it's really hitting because during the summer, it still feels like you're headed back to Central.
right,
And then all of a sudden, it starts to get
Everything's
close to back
changed.
to school, and you're like, no, we're going to a different place.
right,
So-
and the things that she used to care about, she doesn't really care. Like,
Yeah.
does she want to get a new backpack? No, I don't care. I'm just going to use the old
I know.
backpack.
You know what I'm sad about?
And she
Like-
doesn't care so much about fashion. I mean, she's not.
Yeah.
There's no back to school shopping.
Oh, well,
she
there
cares
is.
about
It's
her.
just a lot of rock T-shirts. But okay, can I tell you what I'm sad about?
Yeah.
Okay, give me a minute in my transition season. When you get to high school, they don't put out a list of school supplies.
You just have
So
to know.
she and I from pre-K, it was
Yes.
always our tradition to
Right.
go out, and we had some things we got at Staples, some things at the Dollar Tree, and then we
Right.
got wise to where the best deals were, and it was kind of a thing.
Yeah, that Saturday,
Yeah.
a week or two before, you guys would go out, and then you would
Yes.
spread them all out on the table,
Yeah,
and
we
you'd say, okay,
did.
so, and you'd go through the list, which was cute. Okay, colored pencils, check. Double eraser, check. Elmer's glue, check.
Yeah. And then we would she would get them all organized in her backpack, and it was really fun. And I'd get a couple things for myself just because I could.
Sticky
And so-
notes, check.
Yes, I love sticky notes. But then this year I went on a school website to
Yeah.
try to find the list, and there's not one.
Right.
And it basically says, we'll notify you.
Yes.
So I guess they get there, and there's certain teachers, depending on the classes they have, say you're going to need a couple notebooks.
Yeah, right.
And so I went on a trip last weekend with
It's like going to college now.
It is.
Yeah.
My mom and aunts, and we went to, we were in South Texas seeing family. And I guess apparently the H-E-B grocery store is like a really big deal over there. So the aunts really wanted to go to H-E-B. And I was like, okay, let's go to the grocery store. It was kind of amazing.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, they had college ruled notebooks on sale for 38 cents. And just in case she needs some, I bought 4. It was my consolation prize. So.
Friends, I promise this is going somewhere. But yeah, so here we are. We're in this transition season, and we've actually talked about this before about what transition seasons are like, and that they're, this kind of season can really be uncomfortable and unsettling. And what we're kind of missing in all this, obviously, is context. So you're used to, even when you're ready for a change.
Yeah.
Making that move can be unsettling, can be uncomfortable, the anticipation of it, and it can cause you to feel disoriented.
Yeah, definitely.
And it was, oddly enough, speaking of San Antonio, you just last weekend took a 4-day trip and went down to San Antonio with your mom and her 2 sisters. So
yes.
3 sisters and you.
Yes.
All on one plane.
Boy.
Down to San Antonio.
I was the one cousin with the aunts, and we went as south in Texas as you can pretty much go without it being Mexico.
Right.
Yeah, it was a really sweet time. I got to see my great aunt and uncle, and there was a baby shower with some kids of other cousins, and so it was sweet. It was a lot of togetherness.
And even though it was really, really good and really positive and all that kind of stuff, and it's only like 4 or 5 days.
Yeah.
When you were there, it was like, this isn't really my life, and you're kind of fulfilling a different role than you normally do, and
for sure.
all that kind of stuff, and you're in a different place and different people, and people you haven't seen in a long, long time, and then you come back, and it took you like 48 hours to get kind of back into this thing.
Well, you and Evangeline were like single dad and kid,
so
and I was like, well, okay.
Meanwhile, I'm single dad, and we're doing all kinds of stuff. And
did you get any girlfriends or anything?
Well, that's what single dads do.
They do.
I mean, that's the whole thing.
Yeah,
you just
they
roll
take
the
their kid around and be like,
she's too young. And unfortunately, she's not young enough anymore. It used to be she'd be super cute when you were gone.
And you get a lot of attention, I'm sure.
But now it's kind of like, Dad, can we move on? So, but you think about, okay, well, I'm going to be able to watch whatever I want to watch on TV, and I'm going to be able to do the things I want to do, and this, that, and the other. And so you kind of look forward to, this little vacation thing from your normalcy.
Sure.
And then you get there and you're like, do I live here? What do I do? I mean, what's interesting is how little it takes for us to get out of context, to get out of our norm, and to get switched and think, okay, now what? And who am I? And what do I do? What's important to me? All those kinds of things.
Yeah,
and so
true.
I just find this thing interesting that when we lose context, even in these transition seasons that maybe even be for the better or for good, it throws us off.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that we should avoid them, because, like we said, a lot of times this is the good thing, or sometimes it's stuff you just can't control.
Yeah.
But creating an awareness in us, oh, that's right, this is what it feels like to be out of context. This is what a transition feels like. Or even when you go on a vacation. Yeah. It's not surprising sometimes when you get on vacation to get anxious or even a little depressed, or say, what's wrong with me? Why don't I feel, I'm on vacation. Why do I feel weird? And all that kind of stuff. And part of it's because we live in a certain level of context, and there's a comfort that happens for us. And even repeating things that we want to get out of it eventually.
It's like, Tuesday looks like this.
Yeah.
And we do
this is what I do, and this is how I get ready in the morning.
Yeah.
And I don't have to talk to anybody for 45 minutes in the morning before I get,
And we all want breaks from those routines, because that's healthy too. But the truth is, as humans, I think we all sort of rely on them. They're kind of the things that carry us. Yeah. Carry us through. And so then, when you don't have any of those, you can get weird. Yeah.
So the key is kind of recognizing, okay. So for us, this whole summer, we've had to remind ourselves, hey, this feels weird. Yeah. And it is. And the whole place is a little unsettled. But it's supposed to feel that way. Yeah. And once you know that, you're like, okay. And it kind of helps you to not be rash in making kind of dumb decisions because you feel unsettled and you're looking for a certain level of comfort, or you're looking for a certain level of context, So you get out of a relationship, you're used to being in a relationship, and it would be easy to just jump back into something because you're looking for the comfort of context.
Yeah.
That's not a good thing.
Yeah.
Or, you get antsy about your job and you think, no, I should quit a job, or I should start a job, or I should move a job, or I should whatever. Well, just wait, because in transition times are not necessarily the optimum time for making big choices.
They're really
because you're already kind of out of context and you already feel funky anyway.
Yeah.
So unless you have to,
Yeah.
you try and say, I'm just going to hold here, and then once this kind of resolves itself, we get back into school, we get back into work, we get back to home, then I'll get a sense and a clearer mind of, should I do this or should I not do that?
I used to really go through that in January and February.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
right.
because it's like, you come off, and the holidays are busy for everyone, I think, but for us, it's also compounded by extra music gigs and, work obligations and all of that put in together. And it's busy, but also fun and a little exhausting. So you're glad when it's over. And then rolls into January. Now I love it. But this was, I would be like, oh, dang, what are we doing now? And once I got everything organized, it was like, wow, it would get really quiet for me. And there was this kind of underlying anxiety that would pop up. And so, and it would, basically start to be over around Valentine's Day if I could just chill out. But I figured out this cycle. But for a while there, I would invent something to do. I would be like, one time I invented this whole music series where I was going to help this venue bring somebody in once a month and the whole thing, and I'm going to set it up. And then by about, April, I was like, why did I commit to this annual activity, kind of a deal.
Right.
And then I started realizing that for me, I need to take the rest when it comes. I was unsettled, so I was inventing some activity. That's kind of how I struggle with it. I think for other people,
it's a certain level of control, really.
It is.
You feel out of control, you feel out of sorts, you're looking for something you can control, so you do those things.
Well, what's interesting is based on what people struggle with or just their own personality type, I think for some people, when they get in transition seasons and they feel out of context, they can revert to not doing enough.
Right.
So what happens for them is they're like,
well, sure.
I'm just
going to
go
exercising.
I'm going to go to the couch.
Things.
I don't know what's going on. And so they become inactive.
Right.
And that's also rough
kind
too.
of freeze up a little bit.
Then you can end up isolating from people, which makes it worse. But, for somebody like our personality types, which are different, but we have some similarities, we tend to jump into more activity.
Right.
And both can be dangerous,
Right.
But knowing that is what's happening, I think, like you're saying, and recognizing it, it'll keep yourself from inventing some things.
What's funny is in those seasons when you start inventing things, you're just jumping into projects and all that kind of stuff. I'm going to do this, I'm going to paint that, I'm going to do it. Generally what happens is you start those things and don't finish them. You start a bunch of things and you don't really see them through, and so they're all over the map right now.
Yeah. Oh, that's really true. I forgot one of the things that you do when things are quiet is you invent a renovation project.
I don't know if I invent them.
It's a special gift. Yes. But you're good about finishing them. It just takes a while.
It's taking a lot longer than we want to.
Well,
as a one-man show.
Yeah.
The problem is I have to work, and so if I could just focus on
I know, right?
If I could just be retired.
If we could just renovate, we would be so good at being retired. I love to garden. Man. I love to volunteer.
It's funny because when you were gone on your month-long trip to San Antonio.
My 4 days. You guys did look like you missed me pretty bad, which made me feel good.
It's just funny because I just was looking for ways to connect with people because it was just, I had to, you weren't at the office. Yeah. I was working on, I did have stuff I really had to do.
When one of us is gone, we're alone at work, we're alone at home. Yeah.
And I did have a lot of things I had to do. And so I did go to the gym and I saw people there, which was nice. And then, but then it was mostly me throughout the day because Evangeline was already at band camp.
Army
and
band.
And so I'm alone. Then she gets there. Then it's just the two of us. And I was like, oh man, I just miss seeing other humans and having the context of conversation. So we would go to a couple of places, and then the people that we would normally see there were not there either. And so, we went to the coffee shop, no one was there.
No one was there. Yeah.
We went out to Hideaway Pizza one night, and nobody was there.
It's the last 2 weeks before school, so everyone's on vacation.
Yeah, we went to go play shuffleboard and do a bunch of stuff, and nobody was there. I was like, oh my gosh! And we had a great time, and we had great conversations. She's so smart about music and about rock music, pop music, and genres and all that stuff, and she loves to talk about that, but she adds so much to the conversation, so it's really, really encouraging.
That's cool.
But I said all that to say that I was looking for the context of being
Of
with
other
people, and they
yeah.
weren't really there. And I did
Yeah.
reach out to a couple of people, but they weren't really available, and it was okay. But
It's interesting how people can provide, we talk about schedules
Yeah.
and routines providing context, and that is certainly part of it. But it's our relationships
Right.
and our friendships and the people we interact with that also frame our context as well.
Right.
And so when both of those are gone, that's pretty weird,
Yeah.
So if I think a lot of people are likely in a season like that.
Yeah.
There are some people we know that have kids that are going off to college. I mean,
The hard part about some of those transition seasons, like this, in this case, in our transition season, we know, okay, well, August is coming, school's going to start. We're going to be back into the flow of things. Evangeline will be on a normal schedule. She won't be floating through the summer.
Right.
We'll be into our projects and all that kind of stuff, and back to the stuff that we like to do throughout the week. Our week is, even though we kind of do most of our own content, and especially now in this particular season,
Yeah.
We are our biggest client.
Yeah.
So we still do work for other people and all that stuff, but
And we have a structure and kind of a
but
pattern
we
that
know
we
that,
follow.
okay, on this day we record the
Yeah.
podcast, and on this day we release this, and we promote that, and on and on. So that's an interesting place to be, but okay, this has the thing. The more difficult transition seasons are the ones that are open-ended, and you don't know
Yeah.
how that's going to play out. Like
It's
if you
tough.
are in a transition season with an older parent who is struggling or passing or, and that kind of thing, but you don't know how long that's going to
That's
be.
right.
Is that 1 month? Is that 3 months? Is that 3 years?
Yeah.
Those are the seasons that are more challenging, I think. And but I think it starts with recognizing, that's where I am. This is where I am. I'm in this transition season, and that's why I feel unsettled.
Yeah.
We have a tendency to think often that wherever we are in that moment, that's where we're going to be the rest of our lives.
Yeah.
Oh, I feel so weird right now. I feel so this, and that's when we start trying to control it by doing things.
Yeah,
And
that's so true.
so I think the primary thing is to stop for a second and say, a lot of what I'm feeling right now is the uneasiness of losing this context or being in this transition season.
Yeah.
And now that I recognize that, I can be slower to be mean to myself because I feel weird. I can be slower to make decisions because it's hard sometimes without context to know what the right thing to do is.
Yeah.
And I can be aware that a lot of times in this kind of season, I have a tendency to try and control things. And so, there's some things like for Evangeline, she did her first couple days in marching band. And I picked her up the first day because you were gone living your own life in San Antonio. And
Partying with the ants.
And so I go to pick her up, and she gets in the car. Unsolicited, she starts by saying, "Worst day of my life." Okay, well, all right, wow, that's quite a statement, even for a 14-year-old.
We tend toward the dramatic in our family.
So she went on and on and on about how horrible it was, and she's never going to get the music, and she's a failure, and everybody else is better than she is, and this, that, and the other. And so we went home, and fortunately, she had a very short turnaround time between getting done with band and then going to work.
Yeah.
And the job.
Too long to think about it.
As she says, job is really something she really enjoys.
Yeah.
And she likes the camaraderie of the people that she works with, and she likes the things that she gets to do. She likes having the responsibility that she's entrusted with.
She likes her little paycheck,
so
too.
she immediately went from this thing that was insecure and unknown and unfamiliar to something that was like, I have context here. These people know me. I know what I'm doing here. Yeah. And it was really comforting. So by the time she got home after her job, she was totally... she was much more relaxed and chilled about things, and she felt better. She got grounded in that whole experience. So I said all today say that, are there some things you can do to help ground yourself in that moment? Are there phone conversations you can have? Can you meet someone that you're really close to or connected to do that?
Yeah.
Can you go do some activities or some things that are familiar to you in the process that will help ground you in that moment?
I like that. And I think that's important. I mean, we talk about on this podcast a lot the concept of the okay, now what?
Right.
And the okay part is sort of the acceptance and recognition. Okay, it's a weird season.
Yeah.
It's a transition. Like for us, we know that will come to an end. For other people who are in a tougher transition, they don't. They say, okay, I feel weird right now. And then it's the now what?
Yeah.
So what can I do to make this better for me and the people around me? And that takes some action, and it may take thinking about that a little bit. You know me, I love a good list.
Yes.
Making a list. I'm going to make sure that I go to the gym every day, so I connect with some people. This sounds funny, but there are some other overachievers that will type A's. So for me, I have to schedule some time each day to do something I enjoy.
Yeah.
Which sounds funny, but like we would just work at the house or whatever through every Thursday, just when I go to sleep. I mean, we watch a little TV after we have dinner, but it's pretty much, so we'll set a reading. I'm going to set a reading time. I'm going to read this much. And even those little things can give some context and structure to that. But I think it's okay, now what? Looking at where you are.
Yeah.
And if it's tough for you, I mean, you and I are sounding board for one another, but some people don't have an amazing person they live with 24/7 unless they're out partying with the aunts. But, get together with a friend and say, do you have some ideas? Like, what are some things that I could do? It's so interesting being able to get together with somebody and just... we can, in our own mind, we can't see the forest for the trees, right? We don't have the viewpoint of someone else. So I could look at you and say, oh, man, well, you need to keep going to the gym. Why don't you do this? And if it's the weekends coming, why don't you try to ask somebody out to coffee on both of those days so that you have some, it's and that way that other person maybe has some ideas and some help for you in that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think you probably do need a little bit of a plan of action, would you say?
Yeah, I think it can be comforting to have a couple of steps to take. They don't have to be life transforming. You don't have to move to Africa or sell everything or do all that stuff.
No, you probably should not do that.
Right. Don't do big things. Do the things that comfort you, that are the smaller things.
Yeah.
And I do think, being able to talk with someone, because again, things feel really overwhelming sometimes until we have a conversation. And you think, oh, this is really not that bad.
Exactly.
Oh, this is pretty normal. Oh, this is okay.
I mean, even for me, this seems silly, but we're in this huge, drought and heat thing. So I kind of did, we have a huge garden, which we love, but it takes a lot of watering.
Yes.
And so I have a kind of a mental schedule. I know that I do the back beds on Tuesday and the front beds on and even some structure like that, is good. But I think, definitely having a plan of action. And another thing to keep in mind when we look, outside of ourselves and into what we might be able to do to make the world a little better around us is realize that, like, think about your friends and the people that you're in work with or you're in relationships with or in organizations with, and what transitions are they maybe going through?
Right.
And how can you help them? I have a friend, and we don't get to see each other a lot, but we message and text back and forth. And I know that her oldest daughter, who's a really amazing kid, is leaving for college. Right. And she's trying to be brave about it and joking around and this whole thing. But I know she's partly heartbroken too. Right. So anytime I see her post something, I'll send her a message. Oh, she's going to have such a great time. And so what can we do to help people around us? I think that's brilliant. I think just the idea of awareness, and they are, there's so many people who are doing studies and stuff, and we've talked about this a lot, but one of the more specific things we can do is to try and take our minds off of ourselves. So the idea of serving other people, getting involved, volunteering, doing something that's outside of us, that doesn't have us sitting in a chair thinking, what is happening in my life? What am I doing? It's so hot. My allergies is so bad.
So, if you've lost someone, that's a transition season. If you have, like your mom and dad just lost a pet. Yeah. And that's a big deal for pet owners.
They had a
little dog had been there for 13 years.
17.
Oh, yeah.
The little dogs live a long time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they're little. My mom's little Chihuahua, she calls him Bitty Boy.
Right.
And so he was sick for a while. And, you think, well, it's just a pet. Well, that's been somebody that's been in their house like longer than Evangeline's been alive.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so it's sad. So I sent my mom a note this morning, and we're going to get her a card and some, it's just things like that. Like, what can you do to help somebody with that?
But having that awareness and checking on people and getting them, out. Don't let them hold up in their house. Don't let them be loners. Don't let them shut down and shut out. And then don't allow yourself to do that in the process. But yeah, I think it starts with awareness. Oh, okay, this is what's happening for me. Or, oh, I bet they're going through that now. And in that awareness saying, okay, what are some things I can do to help bring context? What are some things I can help to bring familiarity? Yes. What are some things I can help, to do here that will help settle this for them? Yeah. And then if it's a temporary thing and that deadline, well, then wait for the deadline to pass and then do that. And if you can't get a hold of the deadline, if it's something that's open-ended, like a family illness or something like that,
Mm-hmm.
just keep going back to the things that have some familiarity to that help ground you if you can, as much as you can. And humans are a big part of that, you know.
Yeah. And I think it's important to remind ourselves and each other that it won't always be like this.
Right. And it's supposed to feel this way. It's supposed to be unsettling.
I was talking with a friend at the gym whose wife is having they're quite a bit older, and his wife is having some really, really tough stuff going on. Some memory problems and all of that. And you can see this person, although he cares for a spouse, really has been diminished by all the caretaking, all of that. So I was just listening, and he was talking about it, and I just said to this person, I said, hey, I just want to remind you, she will likely have to have some long-term care. And I said, what you're going through right now, I said, it won't always be like this.
Right.
I said, things will change in this season. Will change, and you've still got a lot of life left. And I mean, you could just see just the air go back, the wind back in his sails.
Right.
But that's it. We've got to remind ourselves this is tough. It won't always be like this, and it's going to get better. And be there for each other, and be kind to everyone you see, because maybe they're going through a transition.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So hold on to it. Remember, transition seasons are difficult and important, but they also lead to a lot of good stuff a lot of times. So
they do. And one last thing from me, anyway, is when I'm in a transition that is difficult. So I look back to the last transition that was difficult for me. So I think back. This is a real different time for us. I remember how sad I was when Evangeline was done with her elementary school.
Right.
When she graduated from 5th grade, and it's not because. I mean, it's definitely because your child is growing up. That's certainly a part of it. I get sentimental about that, obviously. But it's more that we tend to get really attached to people. And I volunteer, and I'm really a part of it. So I'm not only is your child moving on, you're giving up this community that you've had. And I remember how sad I was about that. I couldn't even drive by her elementary school, which is tough because it's 1 block from our house, and look that way without tearing up. But then I think about how involved I got at her middle school and what an amazing season that was. So I'm trying to remind myself that that's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Again, in a different way with different people in high school. And in that way, when it's weird, I know that there are good things that are going to come out of the transition season.
Yes.
If I can hang in there,
Yeah, absolutely true. Speaking of transitions, guys, have you signed up for the Facebook page for Hope for Humans or Mixed Up Mystics? That would be a good thing to do.
Do it. And, hey, it'll give you some positive context.
Right. And then also make sure you sign up for the Dreamery. You can cancel at any time. There's no spam involved. It's once a month. Yeah. It's digital. It's easy breezy, but it's got lots of great bonus stuff in it. And we love staying connected with you that way. So do that, and then just keep on keeping on.
Yes, and our hope is that when we connect with you guys again on this podcast, that perhaps it might be a degree or two cooler.
Oh, please help us. Yes. All right, friends. Thanks for joining us. You humans, we love you. Peace out.
See you soon.
Thanks for listening. Please like, subscribe, and share this episode. And remember, continue this conversation with someone you know. This is Pioneer Dream.